So here's a pair of Pumas, and Puma is not one of those manufacturers that I tend to gravitate towards. I used to have a pair back in the 80s, not sure if they're actually originals or not, and it's something that my dad bought me at the time, and also like in the mid 80s that's when they were in fashion. But this is the first pair on my channel that I'm reviewing, and it's one of those sneakers that initially when I saw them I wasn't the biggest fan of them, but obviously they were sitting on the Puma website, so I thought I'd grab a pair just to sort of see what they're like. And this is the A$AP Rocky Puma Inhale Distressed, and this is in the canvas Alpine Snow, and there's also a red colourway. So this is the box that you get with it, and it's a nice sort of premium box. It's really big actually, and what they've done in terms of the packaging is really nice. I'm not sure, like, you know, in general how Puma products are and how they're packaged, but you know, this one, it's got the paper in there as well, and then you get an extra pair of laces as well, which is in this kind of beige colour, which is always nice. So, you know, they've kind of provided enough, I suppose, detail, I suppose, especially for being I guess a collab. And these particular sneakers were originally released in 2000, and I guess I'm not sure what the original ones look like, but I'm guessing they probably got more of the Y2K type aesthetic. And these were predominantly made as a running shoe, so I think during that time running shoes were getting more sort of lightweight and more sort of simpler on foot, and also having that kind of grippy sort of outsole, because I think again at that time people were sort of running, you know, outdoors a lot as well, so that's, and almost it's kind of into sort of track running. And these were inspired by car mechanics, and like you know, for when you're fixing up in the garage, so it has that sort of worn look. And if you notice, people in that kind of industry do have trainers that are kind of really worn. You always sort of notice them, you know, wearing sort of Air Force Ones where they're like properly cooked. And this is an A$AP Rocky collab, as I mentioned. He's a hip hop artist and also now I think creative director of Puma, and Rihanna is his other half, and she's also now working with Puma again as part of their Venti brand. So with the details, it comes in a Alpine Snow, Puma Silver and Sand Dune colourway. So I'm guessing the Puma Silver is something that is unique to Puma in terms of the silver colour. And from the silver colour that I see, it's mainly, I suppose, on the Puma logo going across the sneaker, and maybe this thin line which is also 3M reflective. And then you also got like this heel tab which has got that sort of silvery colour. And I'm assuming the Alpine Snow is mainly the upper colour, which is this beige colour, and then the Sand Dune is this more darker colour here that you see, so with the embroidered details all over the sneaker. And this has got that sort of hand distressed and frayed canvas look to it, so you can sort of see that on here. It's got sort of rips throughout the sneaker. And if I'm honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of that when I saw them, you know, on previews and seeing them online and when they were announced. And this has a what are they calling, a compressed molded EVA midsole. So again, used for running, for, you know, like in the year 2000. So it does feel very much like a runner shoe in that respect. I didn't realise it was a running shoe because it doesn't have that aesthetic, but I know at the time there were more sort of track inspired type trainers. And this also has a rubber outsole that you can see here, and it's translucent, so you can see some print underneath, and it kind of reminds you of like the basketball sneakers that you see nowadays as well. So it's got some nice kind of grooves in there, and, you know, like this pattern that almost sort of resembles, I suppose, kind of like Rocky type material. And the upper is made up of textile materials and a little bit of leather, which I think was about 15%. And then most of it's sort of synthetic material, so you can sort of see that on here, you know, and it's quite, like I said, got that worn look to it. And the price for these is £115. So with the comfort and sizing, I think these are on the medium to firm side. It's not like they feel like harsh on feet, and maybe even going towards more the medium side. They feel very sort of neutral on foot, which I'm surprised about being a running shoe. And the arch is very flat, so you can sort of see that in here. It's got a very sort of flat arch, and even if I take out the insole as well, it's one of those insoles that's very, very thin. So I think predominantly the majority of the comfort is coming from the EVA midsole, and also you could just see the insoles branded with, you know, like a motorsport inspired type logos. And I went true to size on these. I think true to size definitely works, because I was unsure about Puma sneakers in general, because I haven't worn a pair or bought a pair for a long time, and so I wasn't sure what the sizing was. But basically with this particular pair, I put them on feet and my toe comes to about here with socks on, so I think that's the perfect amount of space in my opinion. The only thing that I will say is you feel a little bit of this side of your toe hitting on this side of it. It's not like it's small for your foot, but it's just because it's quite sort of narrow towards the end. It's quite sort of pointed, and if you've got a really wide foot, you know, which I don't have, it's kind of in the middle, so I can get away with wearing this. But you might find you either want to go up half size because of that reason, or just wear them in and hopefully they're sort of good to go afterwards. And I would say there's no wearing time with these. It's because it's got that sort of textile upper, I didn't feel any sort of discomfort really, and it felt fine on foot. And also the outsole midsole combination as well, it's not like it's too firm where it's like you know, needs time to break in. And in terms of traction, I think it's quite average. I think the back of it not so great, the front of it seems to be fine, but I'd be just concerned about it being sort of too protruded where, you know, it would be slipping around quite a lot. And to me this kind of looks more like a track runner type outsole, so I'm not sure how that translates to everyday wear. So with the look and style, it's got that worn distressed look, so this is the reason why I was a bit unsold on it, because of that fact. But I think when you see them in hand, they're not as bad, but they've still got that distressed look, so it depends on if you're a fan of that. I'm personally not, and I probably prefer them to be without the distressing, and I know there's a pair online without the distressing as well, so I didn't see that until, you know, until I pulled the trigger on these and I saw it after the fact. But it's one of those ones where if you're a fan of this distressed look, then obviously go for it, but I'm not completely sold on the distressed look. But I do like the look of it being, you know, with these embroidered details, and I'm a big fan of trainers with sort of embroidery on there. It just looks really cool to me, and just that sort of attention to detail as well. And this is, as I said earlier, it's got that sort of neutral colours on it, so it's got that sandy colour, and it's quite sort of easy to match up and wear. And then you've got the pop of red, you know, throughout the sneaker, you know, which again, if you want it to be more brighter, there's also a red colourway of this. And I think because of the worn look to it, it's one of those sneakers that I think you can wear pretty much any time, so it's all seasons, because it's sort of quite lightweight on foot. It's made up of all textile materials. I don't think you'll have a problem sort of wearing them pretty much any time really. And this is obviously a casual wear sneaker. It's not really a smart wear because of the fact that it's got that worn look to it. That's definitely not going to be, you know, ideal for smart wearing, but casual wear, you know, anything goes really with these, so they've got that kind of look to them. And it comes with like the red laces that are in here at the moment, but you can also go with the light brown laces that come with it, that almost going towards beige. And I think sail would work really well in these as well, especially, and maybe even white. So with the final thoughts, I do like the overall packaging of it. I think A$AP Rocky and Puma have done a good job with that. And the distressed look, so if you're a fan of distressed looking sneakers, then obviously this is a really good one to get. And being, you know, if you're a fan of A$AP Rocky as well. And I think they're lightweight on foot, in my opinion. I don't think they're like a heavy sneaker. And I would also say when you have them on foot, they look a lot nicer as well than they do when you see them, you know, without being on foot. And also applaud the cost of these. It's not like there's anything magical going on there in terms of materials and in terms of like the tech as well. But what I will say is, being a collab and also being, you know, with all these sort of details on the trainer, I think they've come in at a good price, considering like an SB Dunk Low. I suppose it's a similar type of sneaker, maybe slightly more tech in there, but I think, you know, they've done pretty well on the price, £115. So with the cons, I think maybe going towards the, I guess, the distressed look. So if you're not a fan of distressed looking sneakers, then obviously you're not going to be happy with these. So with the ratings, I give the look and style for this a 4 out of 5. I think what throws me off is just that distressed looking feature. And I know, you know, when I bought them, I kind of knew that going into it. But, you know, sometimes it's nice to see in hand. But I do applaud A$AP Rocky and Puma for trying something different and trying something unique. And I think Puma and Reebok are brands to watch, especially over the next couple of years, because they're trying hard to sort of push themselves and push the barriers and also push the creativeness. And with the comfort, I'm going to give it a 4. I'm in a 9 between a 3 and a 4, but to me it feels more similar to an SB Dunk Low, and that's why I've given it a 4. It's not like it's horrible on foot. It's actually quite nice and quite comfortable and very sort of neutral and quite low to the ground. And the quality, like I said, the overall packaging presentation, I'll give it a 4. I think the materials choices not so great, but overall it's a 4 out of 5 because, you know, it's just a job well done. And the pricing, I'm going to give that 5. I think they've done really well on the pricing, and you know, they could have been greedy and up the price just because it was an ASAP Rocky collab. But you know, Puma have decided to go in at a good price, and so you know, hopefully these sell well, I suppose, for them. And that's why overall I give the sneaker a 4 out of 5. I think just misses the mark for me. I'm just not a fan of the distressed look, and also, to be honest, if I'm kind of looking at all the other pairs of sneakers that I've got that I tend to wear, would I wear these over all of those other ones? And probably not. And that's the question that I ask myself when I'm sort of reviewing these types of sneakers, is whether it's good enough to sort of put on foot and, you know, rock versus, you know, other pairs of sneakers that I have. And at the moment, this is probably not on that list. So for me, it's just missing that little bit of mark. But like I said, if you're a fan of ASAP Rocky, then you'll definitely be interested in these, and just interested in, you know, Puma sneakers in general, because I know they're popular in different regions such as the Caribbean and also South America. So each to their own.